the defense held it down, and that's what we need going forward. Like, you got your guys back, you got Sealer and Holland back now. You can immediately see that difference. Now, you're getting called out by one of your ex-players.
So
now I need that defense to even take it up a notch.
Yeah,
because I want
we'll
shutouts now. I want shutouts.
Yeah.
And who was it? It was Deshaun Elliott, right?
Deshaun Elliott. Just randomly.
Hey, Deshaun Elliott, you moron. Thank you for giving us the bulletin board material that this defense needed. You know, coming off a great game. Now we're honestly, poor Raiders. Like the Raiders, let's let it all out on them and show Deshaun Elliott, that bum, why we got rid of him and didn't pay him.
Yeah, let's just run it up.
Mr. Mac. Aha, you, Mr. Mac. Mr. Mac, Mr. Mac.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Tranquilo Sports Talk. Obviously, David here, and joined by the Pooch himself this week.
Hello, everyone.
He's got a lot to answer for this weekend.
I have to answer for my crimes.
So got to talk about obviously the loss.
Mm-hmm.
Got to talk about the Dolphins' huge Monday Night Football win.
And we're both pretty spirited right now.
Yes,
obviously, you got the jersey on.
We're Dolphined out. I got my Dolphin cup. We're locked and loaded.
This is kudos to Dre. Dre got me this shirt for my birthday. So
Dre,
shout out
Dre.
Listen,
Dre, you know.
He missed a good one.
Lazy ass. I don't even know where he is right now. But
he's sleeping right now in Portugal. It's like 4 a.m. where he's at. Poor guy.
Yeah. But before we start, like, comment, subscribe, everything, share with anybody. Really appreciate it. Helps us a lot.
Absolutely.
And let's just dive right into Monday Night Football.
Let's talk about it, man.
It's finally, not only do we get a much needed win,
mm-hmm.
we haven't won in prime time in like forever, it feels like. So
I feel like last time, I mean, I don't know if the Cowboys one counted as prime time when we
It did, the Christmas
so
game.
I think that was the last time that we won.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's the last time we celebrated like a win in a while. And I mean, I think it's the first time we're not wearing like all black, like funeral status. Like we're actually like happy to be talking about this. And it's a lot of good things to talk about, man. I mean, it was a decisive win against a team that I think their record doesn't show that as good as they are. But I mean, only good things to say about, the Rams are playing very good defense, very good young defense, obviously a good offense. I mean, they're only like 4 years out of a Super Bowl run.
Even less. They won 2021.
I mean, it's a good team. They're a playoff team last year. So, I mean, we also kind of lose that playoff team kind of stigma because, I mean, the Rams were a playoff team. They were.
Yeah. Listen, at the end of the day, we're still 3-6, right?
Yeah.
Everything we say, very good, very good. I mean, I'm much happier this week than I've been in a few weeks. But the facts, we are still 3-6. Mm-hmm. With that being said, we are absolutely back. I mean, the road to the Super Bowl, that play, the Tua third down, he's scrambling, finds Waddle. That's going to be the first play on the Super Bowl DVD this year because we're fully back, baby. We are freaking back. But in all seriousness, the path is still there.
Yeah.
And honestly, everybody, I think only really one team, I think only the Chargers that were ahead of us lost. Every single one of them. So we are essentially right now only 1.5 games back.
I think we're second in the division right now?
Second division.
But it doesn't really matter.
Division's gone. That's that bet. I might as well pay that bet right now.
The gap kind of got a little bit closer. The gap between us and potentially making a playoff spot did kind of close.
With a playoff spot, yes, because the wild card, we're only 1.5 games outside of the wild card.
Yeah,
And
I'm not looking to win the division at this point. Right now, it's playoffs.
That's gone. That's gone. It is purely get into that 7 or 6 seed, and essentially everybody but the Chargers, who we needed to lose, lost, which is great. So with that, you look at what we've got ahead. You've got the Raiders, and you've got the Pats at home. Back-to-back home games that are must-win. You cannot lose those 2 games.
You gotta win.
That's minimum. And then you got probably the biggest test we've had since last night, or one of the 3 biggest tests that we're going to have down the stretch. First is going to be primetime Thursday night, Thanksgiving against the Packers. That's going to be a very tough game. That's a very good team. But if we want to, make this push, that's going to be one we're going to have. We essentially have room comfortably to really only lose 1 game left.
We still have to play the Jets twice as well.
Yes.
We still have the
we still got the Jets twice. And who knows if Rodgers even going to be playing by the second time we even play them.
Yeah.
But we need to concentrate on these 2 first and then take care of Green Bay. That stretch, if you win 3 in a row, then you're really cooking with something, right?
Yeah, you're set at 500, and you're right in the mix of things. Depending on how the
and hoping, people because right now the AFC, if you look at it, it is weaker than the NFC in terms of
the NFC right now, 11 wins.
They're cooking.
Yeah, the 11. I think 11 wins might not even guarantee a playoff spot in the NFC right now.
The NFC right now they're cooking, which is good for us because we're in the AFC. So so we really need that 7th spot. But kind of rewind a little bit. Let's talk about the Rams game.
Absolutely.
I thought the defense really stepped up because the last 2 weeks, right, we've been out without a couple guys. We're missing Sealer, missing Holland, and you've seen it in against the Bills, right? Offense is playing really well. Defense, second half defense really kind of not lets the foot off the pedal, but they're not playing as well as they were first half. Same thing happened in the Cardinals game where it was just we were firing on all cylinders on offense, but the defense couldn't get it done. This time, the defense actually really carried it. I thought the offense had a lot of bright spots. I thought Tua continues to play really well. We weren't able to run the ball, which I was a bit shocked about, but still, we were able to move the ball downfield, especially more in the second half. I think we only didn't score maybe 1 possession in the second half, something like that. But the defense really held it down, I've got nothing bad to say about the defense. Defense, the only thing is I want to see the health of Fuller. So we got to see that one, but the defense held it down, and that's what we need going forward. You've got your guys back, you got Sealer and Holland back now. You can immediately see that difference. Now you're getting called out by one of your ex-players.
So
now I need that defense to even take it up a notch. Because I want shutouts now. I want shutouts.
Yeah.
And who was it? It was Deshaun Elliott, right?
Deshaun Elliott. Just randomly.
Hey, Deshaun Elliott, you moron. Thank you for giving us the bulletin board material that this defense needed. Coming off a great game. Now we're honestly, poor Raiders. The Raiders, let's let it all out on them and show Deshaun Elliott, that bum, why we got rid of him and didn't pay him.
Yeah, let's just run it up. Obviously, the defense, I think, number one, I think the biggest catalyst on that defense, obviously Holland being back was huge, but Sealer being back was such a game changer. And if you talk about probably the best signings across the NFL this year, I think you have to put Calais Campbell up there because Calais Campbell
100%.
has been a game changer for us, especially in the interior. The guy gets pressure. He tips
can
passes.
Play until he's 60.
He's playing out of his mind. I really like the switch we made a linebacker, putting Walker in there. Obviously, we released David Long.
We did release David Long.
So obviously, we have a lot of confidence in what Walker's doing. And he got a pick.
And we just signed this guy today. We signed this guy, another guy from Seattle.
Very surprising pick, obviously. Well, I guess we'll talk about that signing in a little bit. But going back to the game, the defense finally kind of lived up to what we thought of them on paper.
Weaver coached a great game.
Weaver obviously schemed up some amazing blitz packages. I think we put on an insane amount of pressure. I think
for the first time in a few weeks.
In the last couple of weeks, I think we only had a sack. I think against the Rams, we had 5 sacks.
Yeah.
We were getting to the quarterback. We were dealing damage. And on the offensive side, like you said, run game wasn't there, but the passing game, we were able to put up enough points that gave us a chance to win.
Yeah.
But the defense holding these guys to not even a single touchdown, 5 field goals at the end. You can't ask more. That's a winning formula.
That's insane.
I said, the offense played, I would say, slightly above average.
Yeah, they did enough. They did enough to win the game.
Yeah.
Really the defense kept it that way because the defense really, we were kind of riding the defense most of the way because, we were able to kind of sit on a 23-point. We've been able to put up over 27 the last couple of weeks. and still lost. This week, we're able to put up 23 and win.
Which is an argument a lot of my friends. You see a lot of teams. I mean, I think Minnesota last week won a game scoring 12 points.
That was one of the other
and then Jared Goff wins a game throwing 5 interceptions. That doesn't happen in the NFL. You don't win a game when you lose a turnover margin that badly. But if you have a good defense, you're going to be in games, and you see it across the league. You see it with the Steelers. They're 7-2. Dude, obviously the offense doing their thing, but I mean, the fact that their defense is holding teams to so low. I mean, and I think the biggest example of that is the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs are winning games, scoring 16 points, and Mahomes is having
blocking field goals. Their witch magic is gone too far, dude.
They are
good for us, by the way.
Yes,
but yes.
Mahomes is having probably his worst statistical year, but he's undefeated up at this point. But it's because the defense is playing out of their
they have a really good defense.
Their defense is playing out of their freaking mind.
That team is crazy.
Yeah, but I definitely think in the NFL, I mean, not as much as in college, but in the NFL, I mean, a good defense will take you very, very far. And it's hopefully this is the kind of spark that our team needs, our defense needs to really pick it up and really start shutting some teams down, especially some of these weaker opponents that we'll be facing. Obviously, you have the Raiders, you have the Patriots. I think we play the Browns. We play Winston. We play the Jets twice. Yeah. I mean, those are easily winnable games. That if our offense does the job and our defense holds these guys, doesn't let it get out of hand. I mean, we can easily go in and win. But then you look at the flip side. We have to play the Niners. We have to play the Texans.
I like the Niners spot. The Texans spot is the one that's harder. Not to look too far ahead, but, the Packers one's going to be a tough one. Texans are going to be tough on the road. They're coming off a bye week. The Niners one, I like our spot. One, because we're at home. Mm-hmm. They've got to travel across the country. Then they got to travel back across country and have to worry about the Lions.
Their best
and they're not playing their best football either. So, that's a future us problem. We'll figure that out when we get there. We do got to just take care of what's in front of us, and what's in front of us right now is the Las Vegas Raiders. 100%.
So, we got to take it at this point. It's one game at a time. Every win you get is just a win closer to giving ourselves a chance. Yeah. I mean, I think if you look at before the season, we looked at the second half of our schedule as the hardest part of our schedule, but now. A couple weeks in, I think it's 10 weeks in. Yeah. The strength of that has gone down significantly. I think some teams are kind of below expectations and they're not as good as we thought they were going to be, such as the Browns and stuff like that. So, I mean, you definitely have a chance to make some noise in a few. I mean, surprisingly, Colin Cowherd was saying that I like the Dolphins to catch fire. And he made a great point. I mean, I don't agree with him often, but he made a great point. I mean, you see every single year there's one team that they're out of the playoff hunt, and then all of a sudden they catch fire and they win. 7 of the last 8, 6 of the last 7, and they sneak into the playoffs. Yeah, that's what we need. Hopefully we're that team, but it definitely looks like we have all the pieces to be that team because we always talk about it. This team is too good to not make it interesting, and at least not give us a chance to win every game, especially against the Niners, the Texans. I mean, the Texans have been, they've been, I think they've kind of on a down, kind of like on a slump a little bit. The Niners obviously have not been good. They barely beat the Bucs. I think there were another game that I think it was like
another one that they have to travel across the country.
So I mean, one game at a time, like you said. I mean, we're super happy today, but we're content because, like he said, we're still 3-6. We still have a lot of football to be played, and we're not going to be celebrating until we're right there in the mix. Hopefully, it's freaking 6 weeks from now, we're like a game out. It's like we win this game, we're in. We're back. Dude, but as of now, one game at a time, and we're happy to be here. We're happy to finally talk about a win on this podcast. We've only done it 3 times this
third time. This
NFL season. Yeah. So I mean, we're happy to be here, and we're very spirited. Obviously I brought out the shirt. And
what's funny? I just realized we've talked about 2 wins here because Andre has only been a part of 1 because Andre was also out the week after week 1. So I think we're just gonna have to keep shipping Andre around the country because something's happening when Andre's not here. But yeah, so Fins looking up. I do want to, before we move on from the Fins, want to give a shout out to a couple players. One, and on the defensive side, that's made steadily, like he's been steadily improving. In the beginning of the season, he had a kind of tough start, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, like is this like who? Like is this the guy? Is this the guy?" Chop Robinson,
baller.
He's been balling these last 3 weeks. You can see him steadily getting better and better and better, and that's obviously why we drafted him with our first round pick, and it's amazing that we're seeing that because now it's not relieving, but you've got Sealer and Calais causing damage. Mm-hmm. It leaves Chop more opportunities for one-on-ones, and he's taking advantage. He's applying a ton of pressure. So I want to give a shout out to Chop.
This is his chance to make it happen. Obviously, we lost a couple edge rushers. Obviously, we lost Jalen Phillips relatively early in the year.
I wonder if Chubb, if he does come back, when that would be. It'd be coming up,
so I mean, unfortunately, we lost Jalen Phillips. So I mean, this is the time where you see a lot of these young players make a name for themselves and make it happen. And Chop has like you said, rough, but I mean, he's been getting pressure. I think he has one of the highest pressure rates amongst rookies. So hopefully he just keeps on developing and, becomes, hopefully people fear him. People start scheming up to go up against him because as of now, right now, before he wasn't, he was like, okay, it's a rookie. We don't know. Now, it's, you kind of have to respect him because, that get-off speed is just,
it's crazy.
Now you see it in person. He gets off.
It's funny because he looks so small out there, but he's so fast.
He gets off the ball.
He's getting more and more used to the game speed, and it's paying off. He's applying a ton of pressure. So shout out Chop. And the offensive side, shout out to my guy, Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith has probably been the best signing we made outside of Calais Campbell because he is an absolute weapon on offense. Tua's getting more comfortable with him. Remember, in the first few games, he wasn't getting any touches at all. And then now Mike's, drawing up more plays for him, and you see why. He breaks a huge play.
Deservingly so. He made a lot of plays for us. He has good hands. He's reliable.
Yeah, and he's fat. He's a super athletic tight end. And he's essentially our wide receiver 3. That's probably Achane too, but because he's getting fed the rock on a bunch of screens. But
Odell's
John
more involved too.
And Odell's had a couple catches here and there. But Jonnu's probably our number 3, and he honestly he's been better than Waddle this year. Waddle, I need you to wake up, buddy. You had a better game today. You had a better game, but hey, we paid you the big bucks.
Yeah,
it's time to take that leap. Reek hasn't been getting as much involved. Defenses are really doing really well on him. He's dealing with some ligament thing, but I need Waddle to show a bit more. But John has been stepping up, so I'm going to say John wide receiver 2 until Waddle, please just wake up, buddy. You are so good. You are so good.
We need you, buddy. You can't have those drops. That's a crucial drop in a big game.
He's had so many of them.
That's a game losing drop. Those are some of those games. Yeah. That's one of those plays that if you look at a close game, you're like, damn. We would have scored that drive. We would have caught that. It was a dime from Tua. It was right on the money.
Dime, right
hit him
there.
In the face.
Corner, it was.
And it's unfortunate, man, because it's a conversation we have a lot with our receivers. We and I always say we have a drop problem.
We do. Even Reek last year had a drop problem.
We drop a lot of balls, and Waddle, he drops a lot of balls. I thought we got past that, but he likes catching with his body. It's a terrible quality, but hopefully he picks it up. We see the Waddle that we know and love.
Yeah.
Hopefully the Waddle that we paid, the money for him to be, and hopefully he steps up, and hopefully this offense just keeps on rolling, and hopefully we're back to scoring freaking 35, 40 points a game because I miss those days. I miss the long shots, and obviously the O-line we're missing a little bit. We obviously
lost and Austin Jackson too. That's a tough one.
Austin Jackson out for the season. We lost Rob Jones, so obviously the O-line. Wasn't as much as a strength on the run game as they were in a couple games past. Obviously, I think our run protection was amazing the last 2 games. We were running the ball. Yesterday it wasn't the case.
No.
So you definitely have to have that yin and yang to open up the passing game. Yeah. Because if you don't, then people are just gonna lay back and invite the pass.
Pin your ears back and go.
Yeah. So obviously, really good news. I just read Isaiah Wynn's practice window open.
Yes.
So if we get him back, we get him back on that left side of the line with Teron Armstead. Now that Rob Jones went down coincidentally, that'll be a huge addition back to this O-line because last year he was amazing. He was a critical piece of the O-line. When he went down, we felt it. But across the O-line, I think we said it already, but shout out Aaron Brewer. Aaron Brewer has been...
Aaron Brewer and Armstead. Armstead is the number 1 left tackle in the NFL right now. According to PFF, he has been unreal. Knock on wood, Poochie. He's only missed 1 game this year. Obviously, his biggest weakness is his availability. But luckily, right now, he has been good. If he stays healthy, everyone knows how good he is. He's amazing. But Brewer, I agree with you. He's been an amazing. Another one we brought in from free agency, and he's like the number 3 center in Pro Football Focus. So
I'm happy with that. The O-line definitely exceeding some expectations. I think we just need to get healthy. I think, obviously, like we already said, we lost Austin Jackson for the year after we just paid him. Unfortunately, he was doing great. Yeah. But, hopefully the O-line can, stay strong. Hopefully, I hope Kendall Lamb holds that right tackle spot down, the blind side down. But, onward, we look to the Raiders, take care of business over there.
No, here, it's at home.
That's right. It's at home. Take care of business here.
Come home, baby. Come on.
Take care of business here, and hopefully next week we're 4-6, and hopefully we're 1 game closer to that wild card spot. So Great week for the Fins, man. I'm super happy.
Tua, last thing for you, stop using your head when you dive. Just don't even go for a tackle. If it's a pick six.
Oh,
we live with it, buddy. Do not dive head first. We need you out there. As you can see, our offense revolves around you, buddy. So please stop using your head.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's our public service announcement.
Yes. So with that being said, we got to touch on the elephant in the room.
Let's rip off the Band-Aid.
It's about time. It's about damn time. The Canes got their first loss of the season. Pooch, I will let you take it away. I got one thing to say before we do that. I've been dogging, the Canes, whatever, the Candy Canes. Listen, at the end of the day, this loss isn't the end of the world. You essentially still have the same mission. You still have the same goal, and you just win the ACC and you're in. But I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on the loss. Yeah. And, I do want to know, you said 76% chance of winning the Natty last week. Literally last week you said this.
I did. I'll hold it.
Here you go, Pooch. The floor is yours.
So I think you look back at the UM game. I was in Austin, Texas watching the game. And I mean, I was pissed. I was mad. And I think it's just, this is the game that happens when Cam Ward can't be Superman. Yeah, the guy still had 330 yards and 3 touchdowns, and it wasn't enough, which is crazy because you would think that would be enough to win a football game. But it's not enough, and it's almost ironic because yesterday I'm playing college football, NCAA, and there's a new challenge where it's like you have to start the game down 21. And I'm like, is this a thing? I didn't know it. You have to start the game down 21. You have to come back. And I'm like, is this based off the Miami Hurricane season? I swear to God, it feels like it is crazy that we have. I don't remember the last time we went into a halftime with the lead. It's crazy that we are always behind and we rely on this guy, this godsend, to bring us back. And, unfortunately, sometimes it fails. Like obviously you can talk about him fumbling on that play. Him scrambling, but we always said, man, with a gunslinger, you take the good and the bad.
Dude, you take the good and bad. Especially with him, with the year that he's having, you take the good and the bad.
Even in the loss, this guy leads every statistical category, the quarterbacks. And everyone's like, oh, the Heisman's over. I'm like, dude, this guy is still the best quarterback in college football. This guy had a bad game and he threw for 330 yards and 3 touchdowns. But you look at the defense, you look at the scheme. I think our biggest flaw, and I said it before the year, our biggest hole is our secondary. And our secondary, because we don't talk about, the offense is so good that you forget, and people forget, our defense has been dismantled, especially at the secondary position.
Your defense is terrible.
No, but not even dismantled just by teams in terms of injuries. No. We have been hurt at our weakest position. We have lost so far, I think it's 3 DBs this year. We lost our best DB early on. Against Duke, we lost our number 2. We've been dismantled at our weakest position, and it's showing because now Georgia Tech comes out and they're like, jet sweep right,
but
jet sweep left.
They were running all over you. It wasn't just the outside run. No. They were running it down 100%, your throat.
100%, and I think a lot of that has to do with our second and third level defense because our D-line is still elite. People say, you have day 1 and day 2 guys.
They didn't play well this week, but they're still,
And it's also because that people... Our secondary is getting so exposed that these guys, 3rd and 17, you make a stop, you give us a chance. They converted on 3rd and 17. There's a guy wide open on the middle of the field, and I'm like, guys, are we seeing this game? He's wide open.
So that defense is so bad.
And ironically, last year I thought our defense was very good. I thought Goodry was a heck of a DC, and we were super happy when he stayed because oh my God, this defense was so good last year. Yeah, let's bring it back. But what we all forget and we don't talk about enough. We lost a lot to the NFL draft. We lost both our starting safeties. We lost Cam Kinchins, James Williams. We lost a couple DBs. So we already lost a lot of pieces that maybe schematically fit better in the defense he ran. And now we're just kind of plugging the holes. We're putting corners at safeties, safeties at corner. We're just trying to figure out where everyone fits best. Yeah. And you see it. And unfortunately, we got exposed finally. We finally lost. And it was a deservingly loss. Obviously, the coach from Georgia Tech throwing down the U. Good for you, bro. You're 5-5 now. Congrats on making. Maybe making a bowl.
No, they made a bowl game.
They made a bowl game. Yeah. Congrats on playing.
Congratulations, you gave Georgia Tech a bowl game
in the cream cheese Philadelphia Bowl. But like you said, obviously everyone's very mad about how the game went. But the saving grace was that Virginia pulled it off against Pitt and basically made the ACC championship in our hands. Because right now, there's only three teams there's one team that's undefeated, which is SMU, two teams with 1 losses, and it's us and Clemson. And thankfully, we came out to win on Louisville because that gives us the tiebreaker against Clemson because Clemson lost to Louisville.
Yes, but it's not based on that anymore. It's based on opponent win or loss record, which I still think you guys have it.
Well, we have the same record,
but it's not. It's not in terms of head-to-heads anymore. It's opponents win or loss.
Well, right now
you guys are still ahead and still in the driver's seat for it. But the Louisville thing doesn't even matter.
Even though we have the same exact record in the ACC,
you guys are just above them because your opponent records in the ACC are better.
Better?
Yeah.
Thankfully for that, but
because they lost to Louisville, like you beating Louisville, and Louisville's got what? There's 6-2, maybe. I don't even know what they are, but they've got a decent record.
So I mean, like you said, we still have the driver's seat to get that first round bye. I mean, we have to just win out.
You got to win out.
We play Wake Forest and Syracuse. We're on a bye week right now. It's probably the best bye week we can get.
100%.
I mean, it's probably the best positional, like in terms of having a bye week after a loss like that. I mean, it's the best case scenario. So hopefully we just figure out what the hell is going on in this defense because I think our defense has not been good since we played Florida. It hasn't.
No.
It really hasn't. We held Florida to 17 points, and I thought,
And even then, they got like garbage time points.
They got garbage time points.
Yeah.
Obviously, at that point, we didn't know Florida was going to go down the spiral that they went.
Florida's bad, but like they're not that bad. Like they've actually, they almost beat Georgia. Georgia stinks.
Unfortunately, that was the only game that we had our entire defense healthy.
Yeah.
Which, everyone's going to face injuries. Everyone's going to be hurt at different positions, which is why you have depth, which is why you recruit depth. But we have been hurt at our weakest position, and that's being exposed now because we can't stop the pass.
Yeah.
And we're stacking the box to try to stop the run, and we're just letting people go. And then when we play off, people are running against us. So right now, we're just pick our poison. This guy tries to run man, and we can't play man. And then we try to run zone, and then they run it on us.
Yeah,
it's
bad.
It's really bad, and it's unfortunate because we are wasting a historical offense.
100%. Your offense is the best in the nation. Like there's no doubt in my mind. Cam Ward, like I was giving you crap already. Like he lost to Heisman. They probably won't give it to him honestly because of this, which is crazy. Because if Oregon just goes undefeated, they're going to give it to Dylan Gabriel 100% or Travis Hunter. It made Travis Hunter's case even bigger now, which is crazy. But that's just how the NCAA is. But your defense is generationally bad in terms of like the fact that you are there, like if you guys get to, let's say you win out, right? You should be able to beat Syracuse, Wake, and SMU. Although SMU's having a great year, you're better than SMU. Like your offense is better than SMU. I do not trust your team at all. I don't trust the Canes in the playoff at all. They're going to face, let's say if they hold their spot at 4, you're going to have to go up against Ohio State. Then you're going to have to go up of either Texas or, who knows, whatever. So it could be like an Ole Miss or a Penn State. Like all those teams will put up points. You will also put up points. But if you have a slower day than any other day on the offense, you're dead. Like it's dead, which is crazy. Like it's crazy because the offense really hasn't had that much of a dead. This is the most dead they've looked, quote unquote. They put up like 20.
They scored 28.
28, yeah, right. And they weren't scoring at will like they've been in the season. But if you don't score at will, like you guys lose. Like that's the craziest part about it.
And I always I said it now. Like after the last couple of games, like we have to win in a shootout.
Yeah,
we have to win in these fucking 66 to 60 games and just pray that we're the ones that has the ball at the last possession.
Essentially.
And it's just
that. Which is crazy. You did, and that was exactly what happened here. The fumble was a great play by the Georgia Tech defensive end, but there was actually no doubt in my mind that you guys were going to win that. Like I was like, dude, these guys are going to drive down like it's a joke. Like I can't believe they got away with another one, and then he fumbled, and it's like, oh shit, and then they couldn't stop him. Yeah. They couldn't. They could have held to one.
No, we could have made it an 8-point game and then score with a minute left, and we jet sweep again, and we couldn't stop him. We couldn't. Yeah. We couldn't all game. So it is what it is. We get over it. Get through the bye week. We get a break from the Canes. They get a break. They get to revamp and figure out what they are. I won't even talk about the playoffs until we finish off the ACC because before it was like I was just looking at the playoffs. Now it's like we need to just make sure we beat Wake Forest and Syracuse to give us a chance to the playoffs.
Syracuse will be the sketchy one. What's the last game of the season at Syracuse? They're just looking to play spoiler at that point.
Yeah, it's a trap game, and I hope that we have this freaking just epiphany of defensive gods, and we have the spirits of Warren Sapp and Ray Lewis and Ed Reed step onto the field, and we just pick it up. I mean, that's the only thing we can pray for. That our defense just becomes average.
Yeah.
Just make a couple stops a game and give us a chance to get ahead.
I mean, that's all you need, because I mean the offense is good enough, but then I don't know, man. I can't. If you guys are paired up against an Ohio State, a Texas, or Oregon, I mean, Oregon would score at will on you guys.
Yeah.
Same with Texas. I mean, Texas just put 50 on Florida. Like, you know what I mean? Like those offenses aren't Georgia Tech or Duke, and those offenses are putting points on you guys.
No, yeah.
So like, it's still in front of you, right? Going to the season, the goal was the ACC, right? It was the ACC. The goal is right in front of you guys. Like this is right there for the taking.
Yeah.
You know, and then you get into the playoff. That's icing on the cake, and then anything can happen, right? Do I trust you guys in there? Absolutely no shot.
I don't blame people, and I don't blame people not trusting us.
Let's see. I mean, listen. It's like you said, it's a perfect time for a bye week for you guys, and yeah, now it's time. You essentially just lost your cushion. You lost your cushion now, because I'm telling you right now, you lose another game, like, let's say, I mean, I guess whatever, I guess you can still, well, no, even if you lose another game and Clemson and SMU went out, you're out of the ACC and you're out of the playoff.
Basically.
Yeah.
No, right now our destiny's in our hand, and everyone says that. That's why a lot of people, obviously, everyone's freaking out when we lost, but now everyone kind of took a step back, and they're like, I mean, they still have a chance to be the 4th seed.
Oh, 100%.
They still have a chance.
I mean, they're literally, it's insane. They're either going to be the 4th seed or out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, like, it's an insane spot.
It's the two evils. It's either you're in or you're just out.
Yeah.
And you're playing in the Pinstripe Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, those are the two options right now, which is super unfortunate.
You're going to play us in the Pinstripe Bowl, baby, because FIU's got a chance to go bowling, baby, after a crazy season. A season that, like, very similar to the Dolphins in a different sense, in terms of we should have a much different record than we have right now. We are 3-6, actually, ironically, just like the Miami Dolphins. We are coming off a bye week, talking about much needed bye weeks. This was a much needed bye week for us as we face Jacksonville State this weekend at Jacksonville State. 14-point dogs. It's time to go dog hunting, Pooch.
Let's go.
And this is essentially our last chance. We got to win out last 3 games to get to a bowl game. This team again should already be at 5 wins, but that's nor here nor there. We take it as we get it. The last 2 games are very winnable. This is the last circle game. In terms of, this is obviously it's must win as it gets. They're all must wins from here, but very curious to see how the Panthers hold up this weekend. But we're gonna go dog hunting. I'll tell you that much, and I'll talk a little bit more about it when we get to our picks. Let's just say that.
Let's do it. Well, one last thing, and I know we were talking about a little bit before. Now that we're on college football, I want to talk to you about.
I'm gonna pull the playoffs.
Conference bias. I definitely think, and I'm saying this because I saw a clip about Resh Lashley talking about conference biases and how there's a potential area where like 5 or 6 SEC teams are going to make it in to the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
And then every other league kind of gets a different kind of standard in terms of grading, in terms of the polling and everything like that.
Yeah.
Where he made a point that the ACC versus the Big Ten record is better. We have the edge, right? Against ACC and SEC, they only have a slight edge. There's only like a 1 or 2 game difference that after the season ends, we can easily take the lead there, right?
Yeah.
Because now everyone's thing and everyone's stigma is, especially with the Canes, is like, you guys haven't played anyone. And I'm like, that's not our fault.
You play the schedule.
We literally cannot control the strength of the ACC. But at the same token, I mean, there's bad SEC teams. But it's like, he made the example that Vanderbilt, before obviously Vanderbilt went on their run, they beat Alabama. And it's like, Alabama lost to an SEC team. Tennessee beat Arkansas. And it's like, Tennessee lost an SEC team. But then loses to a Georgia Tech. And it's like, wow, what a bad loss. What is that? That's crazy. And I'm like, okay, dude, but like hold us to that same standard, because there's maybe they're not SEC.
I'll disagree with you a bit. But
they're not a bad team. Like Georgia Tech gave a couple guys games.
Yes.
There's a couple ACC teams that gave SEC teams a run for their money. Bama almost, was in a dogfight with USF until the last 4 minutes of the fourth quarter. We went in and we dismantled Florida. Not to say anyone else has done that, but we went in and we dismantled Florida. So it's like Texas dismantled them. So it's like, at what point are you just going to stop giving the SEC kind of grace where it's like, it's okay to lose within the SEC because it's the SEC. But if you lose in the ACC, it's like, wow, you must be a dog shit team.
Here's the thing, and this is where I'll disagree with you. I agree, and to an extent, into the SEC bias is very ridiculous, especially to the point that they're going to absolutely bone somebody, and the team that they're going to bone is Indiana. If Indiana does not beat Ohio State, they will openly bone Indiana out of the playoffs for a 2-loss SEC team, which is ridiculous because Indiana is in the second best conference, if not possibly the best. Big Ten is actually probably better than the SEC when you've got Oregon, Ohio State. 3 of the top 4 teams are in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? And, 4 of the top 5 because Indiana's number 5. That's insane.
Yeah.
Like that's a conference that's crazy, right? And then the SEC bias is granted. Listen, the SEC. The reason why they do it, and where I will disagree with you to an extent, is that the SEC is worlds better than the ACC. It just is. Like the ACC is a weaker conference. Of honestly the Power Fours, they are the 4th slot. Like the Big 12 is better than the ACC in terms of consistency and like the teams in it, right? That's why they hold more weight. Now I agree with you. The second a team loses 3 games, let's say, because even 2 games maybe you can sneak in the back end, 3 games should be an auto elimination. The fact that if let's say I guess no 3 teams will get in, but 2 teams, right? Let's say two lost teams, which it would be Bama, Georgia. Let's say Georgia beats Tennessee this week, right? Ole Miss, Tennessee. Let's see who else is in there. LSU's what 3? No, Texas A&M 2 losses as well. They're at 14, so they're hunting right there.
Well, Texas A&M I think they just lost to South Carolina
for their second loss though,
and they must have dropped out of the.
They're 14.
Yeah, I mean, so they're right there.
They're right there.
They can make it in.
By the way, LSU, who just got destroyed by Bama, is at 15. Wait, this can't be right. Oh, I'm sorry. This is a terrible. This is bad podcasting.
You have the wrong list.
I have the one from before.
You have the last.
I'm like, this is insane.
Like UM is still number 4. How is that possible?
Yeah, well, UM is still.
We should be number 9. We're number 9. The list that has us at number 9 is the most updated list.
Yeah, but you're still taking number 4 in the thing.
Yeah, I'm talking about the full rankings. We have to look at
the full
1 through 25.
Okay, so you got Oregon number 1, 100%. Ohio State number 2, 100%. Texas number 3, 100%. Penn State number 4. Honestly, yeah. Indiana number 5. Honestly, I'd put even Indiana above. Although really? Penn State's only loss is Ohio State, which is obviously the number 2 team. Indiana's undefeated. Indiana.
So they have a 1-loss team at number 4.
They got a 1-loss team at number 3 in Texas. Texas lost to Georgia.
That's right. Texas did lose.
Then you've got Indiana, who's undefeated. You got BYU, who's undefeated. You got Tennessee at 7 with 1 loss. Notre Dame at 8 with 1 loss. Miami at 9 with 1 loss.
Which Notre Dame pisses me off.
Bama at 10 with 2 losses. Ole Miss at 11 with 2 losses. And Georgia at 12 with 2 losses.
And who's just outside?
Just outside is technically Boise State, but Boise State is the 12th seed because of the G5 rule.
And their only losses to Oregon.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
so right
they were
now,
in that game.
Right now, Boise State's got the 12. Georgia's the team out right now. Georgia, SMU, and Texas A&M are the 3 teams out. And Kansas State at 16. Oh, by the way, Iowa State, the team that you had your sleeper pick going to the playoff. They lost this week.
Yeah.
Colorado though continues to roll. That's my sleeper.
Colorado's a 2-loss team, right?
2-loss team as well. The rest are 2-loss teams. You go to Clemson, and then you go to LSU, I think it's 3-loss.
Yeah.
Right? So then you go LSU, Missouri, who's I think.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're Missouri's even in this thing.
Yeah.
Army's at 24 and then Tulane's at 25.
Yeah.
But
it's crazy that you say that. We have. I mean, I don't see why there can't be a world where there can't be 2 ACC teams in playoffs.
I agree to an extent. Because I agree. Like especially you'll both. The loser will be a 2-loss team, essentially, right?
Which is so technically, let's say hypothetically we all win out.
Everyone wins out.
Hoping that maybe someone ahead of us loses, we can maybe jump to I would say the max we go up to is maybe number 6, given that people in front of us lose. Maybe. I think that's the highest.
There's a big one this week with the Tennessee Georgia game.
So they're no Tennessee's ahead of us, right?
Tennessee's at 7, yeah.
So let's say hypothetically they lose. We jump up. I think the highest.
I think they would literally. I swear to God, they might do this. They might. If you guys are on a bye week. If Georgia beats Tennessee, they might just put Georgia out of you. That's how biased they are to Georgia. Carson Beck stinks. Carson Beck stinks.
He was supposed to be a first round pick.
What an absolute miss show, dude.
I don't even think they have him in the second or third round.
He's distracted by his Kane girlfriend. Is he dating one of the Calavar twins or whatever? Cavender twins.
The calamari twins. One of the calamari twins.
One of the calamaris. Listen, the thing is, with your two losses are no matter what going to be worse than the 2 losses of Georgia, or Alabama, or an Ole Miss, because it's an incestual relationship where they all just lose and beat each other. That's it. The thing about it is the reason why, right? So like you look at your schedule. Louisville has jumped back into it, right? And Clemson is also still in it at 20.
Pitt dropped.
Pitt's not in anymore. Yeah. So you've got 4 ACC teams in the top 20.
And we beat Louisville.
You've beaten one of them. You've beaten one of them.
Yeah.
Right. So, but then you look at the other ones, right? Like who they've beaten. I mean, I guess Texas is actually the only one that, because like they lost to Georgia. And they beat everybody else, but they actually haven't beaten technically a ranked team because they smoked Michigan, who was ranked at the time.
They almost got upset by I think was it Vanderbilt that they almost lost to?
Vandy's been playing spoiler out here.
Vandy almost gave him a game too.
Yeah.
So it's like, the one team that definitely pisses me off the most out of anyone is Notre Dame being in there. Obviously, I know they're spanking people.
I disagree because it's the same thing as you guys. Like it's a 1-loss team.
I agree.
They're looking like their defense.
Yeah.
The difference between you and them is that their defense is nasty.
And I truly believe that if our defense was better and we were ranked higher, I think we maybe wouldn't have dropped as much as it is.
100%.
But people are like, bro, your
100%.
defense is that bad.
The issue with you guys is that you guys could have lost 4 games already.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Like that's why people are weighting you guys so much less, because your offense is so good, but you could have easily lost 4 games.
No, I agree.
Cal should have been any other universe as a loss. I mean, you ended up blowing them out, but Duke had your number for 3/4 of that game. Obviously, lose to Georgia Tech, and then who's the other one?
Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech, the overturn, PI, which is, I agree, it's the right call, but like that's a miss, that's a blink away from being 4-loss team. And then even Louisville, I mean, at the end kind of tore. That was a close game back and forth the entire game. Like that's why they weighed it less as opposed to Notre Dame, who's now just beating the crap out of teams.
And it's unfortunate because if we had an average defense, we beat all those teams by 20 plus.
Let's see.
The only way that we can beat a team in the playoffs is if our defense magically has the best first quarter of their lives and we go up 21-0 early, because I think with a 21-point lead, I don't think anyone catches us.
I agree.
And I think it has to be 21 points because 14 points, our defense will allow shots.
Yeah, they will.
And your offense, these teams, we're going to play good teams. These teams are amazing. They're obviously in the playoffs for a reason. Yeah. They're going to get stops on us. But we have to pray that we go out with such a hard lead that they just can't catch it. We just have to, don't play conservative. Just keep firing away and keep scoring at will, because that's the only way you're going to win is scoring at will.
So here's the Notre Dame thing, and this is why I disagree with your take. In terms of you compare the games that you guys have played, the teams that you've played. Do you remember the score for the FSU game for you guys? You guys won by like 20 or something?
36-10, I believe it was, or 36-14.
No, I think it was close to the spread. Pull up Miami's record.
I know we covered the spread. We covered the spread.
Which was like 20.5.
21.
So I think you won like by 21 or 22.
Yeah, we covered the spread that game.
Nonetheless, Notre Dame beat them by 49.
No, yeah, they beat the brakes off of them.
At the time, Navy was ranked 24. They beat them 51-14.
I remember that game. I was like,
you guys just lost to Georgia Tech. They beat Georgia Tech 31-13. And then the closest game that they've had with somebody that you guys have beat as well is Louisville, who they beat 31-24. So it's a pretty close game. But like you just look at this and it's like, okay, like that's why they're ranked ahead of you. It's because they blow people out. 2, their defense is much better than yours.
No, I agree.
And I don't think Notre Dame is that good, by the way. Like I think Notre Dame would be like a dream scenario to beat. Like that'd be a great game because it's a great defense for a great offense. That's a dream scenario for you guys, I think, in a playoff spot.
But unfortunately, right now it just looks like
dude, I can't even find the bracket. Why can't I find the bracket? Where the hell is this? All right, college.
But I mean, we just have to we just have to figure out this defense. Just find a way to get a couple stops a game.
Yeah.
Don't let these teams take.
Okay. I got it. This is the most updated one. Okay. So you guys are at the 4 spot, right now. Mm-hmm. So you would play the winner of Boise State, Ohio State, right? Ohio State. You guys having to play Ohio State would be extremely tough. But let's say you beat them or Boise State upsets them and you play Boise State. Okay. Then you're gonna have to most likely play Oregon. which I think they would kill you. And then you got to play on the other side, either, in my opinion, Texas, maybe Bama gets through, an Ole Miss or a Penn State. It's, whatever, either one. I mean, Oregon's probably going to be your stop right there. I think Oregon's by far the best team in the NCAA. Although there's so much parity this year, I think Oregon's by far. Even though it's crazy because they started off so bad. This team is fraudulent. This team is a fraud. They've just, since that Ohio State game, they've been killing people. They've been dominant. But who knows, man? You just got to get there and see what happens. But the one good thing, and the one thing I'll say before we go into our picks, for probably the first time in I don't know how many years, I actually am enjoying college football more than I'm enjoying the NFL. In part, obviously, the Dolphins' rough start probably doesn't help. But in terms of just like watchability and like the storylines and the different things that are happening, college football is 10 times more interesting than the NFL right now. Obviously, if the Dolphins were in contention, like Dolphins were the number one team, it'd be different. I'd be like, oh my God, this is the greatest season of all time. Taking my bias aside from it, the NFL has had so many issues with just the games have been not as good. There's been a couple really good games, like the Bengals-Ravens one the other night was really good, but it's become a ref show, and like the storylines are like the Chiefs and their witch magic, and it's just like it's like still fun. It's football. I'm gonna watch every single game.
It's become like a comedy show.
Yeah, but it's like
a parody.
Then you watch college football, which is usually, to me, like I watch college football. I love college football, but like it's like, okay, like Georgia's the best team in the SEC. Georgia's gonna win the whole thing, and if Georgia win, whatever. Like there's always a dominant team where at the end of the day you're like, all right, they're gonna win it. We'll just watch for the chaos and see what happens. This year's like, okay, there's like in my opinion, like 4 or 5 teams that could really win it, and then there's another 3 teams that could absolutely still win it too.
Yeah.
But like, the parity, what's happening this year in college football has been amazing. The conference realignment, I think, has been really cool, and I kind of dogged it in the beginning. I think it's been really cool to see, and there's always big games. Like
it's been very refreshing.
Every week
very
there's
refreshing.
a big game. That's probably the first time now that the Dolphins go on a 7-game win streak. College football can kick rocks because bye-bye. It's Dolphins season, baby.
It's funny you say that because I feel like every single game, I mean, the majority of games that UM has played, it feels like I'm watching the Dolphins versus the Ravens game when we came back down like 21. Like, imagine reliving that 5 weeks in a row. It's gut-wrenching. But I mean,
but it's electric.
Like these close games that Miami has, it doesn't look good on us, but like, dude, everyone wanted to watch. Like everyone, like, even you look at the highlights. The highlights have millions and millions and millions of views, and people are like, dude, like, it was a close game, but fuck, this is really good football. Like, this is like crazy. This is like college football, So I mean, I've enjoyed it. Like, obviously the loss, it happens, guys. It's football. Let's be honest, it's football. Teams are gonna lose. You wish, obviously in college football, you have to win those games, especially against lower ranked teams, but. It is what it is. It just makes things a little bit more interesting. Makes things more exciting. And it gave a couple people some humble pie. It gave us a much needed humble pie, which reality is, looking back, and I think we needed it. So we move onward. We get the bye week. Hopefully we come into Wake Forest, smack them around, go to Syracuse, take care of business there, and then set our sights in the ACC championship against a very good SMU team with Rhett Lashley, which, I loved Rhett Lashley when he was at UM. So it's going to be an exciting end, a nail biter to the end to see if we secure a spot in the college football playoffs. But right now, I mean, I'm back to just like, let me just
game by game.
Now just
game.
win. Yeah. Now it's come back to the point where it's like, we just have to win this game.
Yeah.
So we're back, it's okay. Thankfully the Dolphins won. So like, I'm sane.
Yeah, come on.
Because the Dolphins have lost and UM lost.
Bring back a big dub this weekend.
And then FIU's going to take care of business. But I think with that, let's get into some picks. Let's talk about some picks. I know you have, there's a couple you're excited about.
There's 2 that I'm very excited about. One of them, I was looking into it. I was like, this can't be right. I truly couldn't believe it. Let me pull up the...
Is that why you cleaned your glasses earlier? You're like,
yes. No, I really... Oh, shit, did I? Wow, I had a nice clean sweep in the NFL board last week.
Oh, congrats.
Actually, the perfect week parlay, whatever, that was insane. You almost clean sweep. You went 3-1. Oh, and me and you hit our dogs of the week.
Who? My dog was
the Pats.
The Pats, right? They won.
Yeah. All right. So we'll do a rundown for last week.
Let's do it.
I was 2-2 in college football. Which, by the way, I want to get into this. I think that we got to tally up. I got to tally up all these at the end. We should do a loser. The person who comes in last place for college. I think what
punishment.
I think what it needs to be is that the punishment is they have to order a T-shirt or a jersey of their biggest rival, whether it's college. So in college, you'd have to pick. You can pick FSU or
an FSU jersey.
An FSU jersey. I would honestly just wear one of your UM jerseys on a show. And then NFL, we just have to write the Bills or something, which would be gross. So I'm going to tally those up, and then next week we'll talk about where everyone stands and what everyone needs to finish the season. But all right, last week I went 2-2, 2-2 in college, and then I hit my dog of the week as well. So I went 3-0 with my straight picks, and then I had the 8-leg parlay, which I really only lost by 1, by the way, which is insane. I was watching, and dude, and the Chargers were losing. I'm like, whoa. Hey now. And then Andre went 2-3 in college, and then went 3-1, but missed his dog. Right? He had the Titans. Mm-hmm. And then you had a great college football. You actually had a great weekend in general. You went 4-2 in college, and then went 3-1 plus your dog, so 4-1 in NFL. So you had a very impressive. If you were following Pooch, you made a lot of money.
All right, guys.
So for this week, I've got. My first play is pretty automatic. It's like I mentioned earlier in the show. It's do or die time for FIU, and I like the spot. It's we have nothing else to lose game. Jacksonville State has been good. I mean, they whomped Liberty the other week, and they're one of the top teams in our conference. But what I've seen from this team throughout the season, I really don't think this record justifies how good this team is and how good this defense is. We've had some quarterback injury trouble, and there's just been a ton of issues of fumbling on the 1-yard line. There's a lot of things. But I think this team legit has what it takes to beat anybody in the Conference USA. I think that's how, we are as good as anybody. I mean, we took Liberty to overtime the other day. We've been in these crazy games. I think our record, a couple plays here and there is completely flipped, but it's not. So now we're fighting for that, 3 wins in a row. Would be 4 because we won the last time. But we need 3 in a row to go bowling. And it starts with Jacksonville State. We are 14-point dogs on the road. I think, it's a perfect time for a bye week. Get the guys healthy. And we're bouncing back from, a really big win at the Cage where Eric Rivers was shattering records and making history. I think he continues to eat. Hope that game really gives Keon a bit more confidence. The defense needs to continue playing the way they are. So I think not only is FIU going to cover plus 14, but give me that money line because we're dog hunting this weekend, and it's must-win territory. So to win out, we're in a bowl game. And if we're in a bowl game, we're going to that bowl game. We're just going to book that right now. Andres in Portugal is going to wake up and realize that there's a charge on the company card to wherever the damn game is at, because that's happening.
Horrible.
Yeah. So that's that. I think FIU. Let's get it, baby. Paul's up. That's obviously my first pick. Second pick. This one really made no sense to me, and then I looked a little into it. I'm like, okay, maybe that makes a bit more sense. I don't care. Tennessee is plus 10 against Georgia. I think Georgia has looked terrible. I think Carson Beck, I've already said it on the show, he stinks. I think Carson Beck stinks. He is one of the biggest misses I've ever seen of a college analyst and saying that this guy is going to be the number 1 pick. This guy is terrible. He is truly terrible. I am shocked of how bad he is. The defense isn't as dominant as they used to be. And, granted, they're coming off a loss, but you're playing a really good Tennessee team. I think Tennessee's defense is as legit as it comes. And then I like the Nico kid. I know he's a freshman. However, I realized that he got injured last game.
Oh, boy.
It's a concussion, supposedly. That's why they took him out. So he's a true game-time decision, which is why they're plus 10. But I'm going to take that risk. We were recording on a Wednesday. As of right now, I saw that he was at practice. I don't know if he's cleared yet. I have no idea. This game could skyrocket to 35. I have no idea. But I'm taking Tennessee plus 10 and the money line. I've got Tennessee. I've got a few futures.
Oh, doubles on Tennessee. Doubling up on Tennessee.
Tennessee and FIU. Big dog money line hunting this weekend.
Wow.
So
you're guaranteed. You
so I've got four. I've got 4 or 5 futures. Let me count them out. I got 4 futures. I'm pretty sure. I have all from the preseason. I've got Oregon, Texas, Penn State, Tennessee. All 4 in the playoffs right now. All right. I need all 4 to get there. And there's only one way Tennessee gets there, in my opinion. It's got to be beating Georgia or in a really close game. So the plus 10 is what the cushion there for. I need Nico to be playing, though, because if he's not playing, that's a bit of an issue. But I saw that line, and I immediately went, plus 10? This team, like, I bet on Georgia. Georgia had minus 2.5 last week. They stink. Every time I trust them, they stink, which means they're probably going to blow me out this week. I don't care. I am taking Tennessee.
They know and they hear you. They're like, man, this guy David talking all sorts of shit.
Yeah, talking all sorts of shit, man. And then let me see. I've got two. I mean, those are big dog hits. Let's see what I've got. Let's see what else I got.
I got a big dog this week.
You got a big dog?
I got a big dog.
Oh, I've got another dog. You ready for this one? I don't know why I continue to trust them. They've been nothing but pain. I've had over 7.5 wins for this team. They started 5-1 and they haven't won since. It's Nebraska. I'm taking them plus 9.
Yeah, Nebraska's been
I'm taking them plus 9 against USC. I think that's just a battle of two teams that have kind of lost their way this year. I think USC. I'm not going to take the money line because I do think USC wins at home, but I think Nebraska can keep it within 9. So I'm going to take Nebraska. So I'm on all dogs this week. So
all right, I like it. I like it though.
Yeah,
makes things easy. It would be a lot of money.
Oh, it would be a lot of money. I'll tell you what. If FIU and Tennessee win this weekend, I'm gonna be buying this show from Andre.
You're buying the rights.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Pooch, you now work for me, my friend.
Okay, that's it. You're done.
That's I'm gonna go. Those are dogs.
So my first pick. I'm gonna stick with my horses. So my first one is UCLA. Okay. I have them beating Washington. They're plus 4 underdogs. I think UCLA's been playing some good football.
You want plus 4 or money line?
Money line. Let's do money line. I have them beating by.
Let's go plus 4 and money line.
Okay, let's do it. Let's double up.
We're doubling up this week. And since Andre's not here, we're making his pick. So I'm gonna find some shitty picks in here.
My second pick, and I'm going on a limb here. Arkansas to cover against Texas.
Okay, what are they at? Plus 13.5, right? All right, plus 13.5. Arkansas, not bad.
I got Utah covering against Colorado.
Plus
12.
Plus 12. Utah, I mean, since they lost Cam Rising, they're terrible. But I don't hate this spot. I had Utah money line last week, late night play, and they had it in their hands and they blew it.
Who are they? I forgot who they. I know
BYU.
They were playing BYU.
Yeah.
So speaking of BYU,
yep.
My next pick is Kansas is going to beat BYU.
Dude, Kansas beat the brakes out of. I think it was Iowa State. No, was it Iowa State?
I think so.
They beat the shit out of somebody. Money line.
I'm taking Kansas money line.
All right.
Kansas is going to beat BYU. All
right, I like that.
I'm super confident in it.
There's no way I would find it very hard to believe the way that BYU is playing. They are good, don't get me wrong. They've got to lose a game. First off, the fact that they won that game against who was it that they had that crazy hit, almost Hail Mary. Oh
Kansas?
Were they playing Kansas?
No, BYU.
Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State, yeah. Oklahoma State game. I was on BYU and I was half in bed thinking this game's over. But they got to lose. They've been towing the line of dangers there, similar to Miami.
Yeah. And
ended up the Camels back ended up breaking there. So I like that pick.
My next pick is South Carolina money line against Missouri. South Carolina's been my horse all year. You can look back at all my picks. I pick South Carolina almost religiously.
You do.
I really like South Carolina this year. I think they're super underrated. I mean, if they were one score games go the other way, I mean, they're in the playoffs. I mean, they can very easily be in the mix. They just obviously, play really good teams, but they gave everyone a game. And then my last pick, I'm going to take, you know what? I don't want to do this because it's against you, but I don't even want Georgia near me. I'm going to take Tennessee.
Oh, okay. What the hell?
Excuse me. I'm going to take Georgia.
What the hell, Pooch?
I need Tennessee to lose so I go up in the rankings. You know what? No. I want Georgia out of the way. We're going Tennessee.
All right, let's go. We move.
Tennessee.
We back.
I'm taking Tennessee money line.
Oh, you want money line too?
I won't double up there. That'll be way too much. I want to double up too much.
All right. Instead of taking the plus 10, you'll take the money line. I love it.
Okay. I'll play the safe pick.
Yeah, I don't want to double down. Give me the money line. Okay.
I'll take the money line.
Yeah. All right.
But that'll be my.
That's a big college slate. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
You got your NFL ready, or you want me to go NFL first?
I'll go NFL. Let me pull them up here. Okay, so off the bat, just give me Dolphins money line. Let's just not play around here. Let's give me Dolphins. Dolphins are gonna win for sure.
Dolphins money line. You're gonna lay the juice.
Lay the juice.
They're minus 7.5.
Yeah, I just want them to win. I'm gonna bet on them to win.
I got to bet on that game.
I'm gonna bet on them to win. Okay?
No, you can't take money line. That's too big.
It's too much, right?
Dude, they're going to be minus.
Are they
minus 375?
All right, then we'll just take the. We'll take the.
I'll give you -7. I'll give you the hook.
We'll do -7.
I'll give you the hook.
Just to win a little bit more money there.
Yeah,
potentially.
Yeah.
Just to potentially win a little bit of money.
-375. You're gonna have to lose like 400 to make $100.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. My next pick. Okay, I'm picking the under in the Kansas City Buffalo game.
Oh, okay. What is that? That's under
46.
Under 46.
Kansas City does not score points. And I think their defense isn't going to allow Buffalo to score points.
Yeah.
So I think that game's going to go under.
That's a good call.
I think that game's going to go on the under for sure. My next pick, my God, that's insane for that to be an NFL spread. Lines are -13.5 against the Jaguars.
I have 14 here.
The poor Jaguars.
Trevor Lawrence would do. It's Mac Jones. He's so bad.
My next pick. Pittsburgh money line against the Baltimore Ravens.
Wow. Okay.
Pittsburgh's going to win.
Steelers have been your dogs. They've been winning you some big bets here.
Pittsburgh is going to beat Baltimore, and Washington is going to beat the Eagles.
I like Washington this week too.
And then I saw my dog. I just didn't want to say it because I saw it. My dog of the week are the Seattle Seahawks +6.5 against the 49ers. All
right, Seahawks money line dog pick. I like those, Pooch. I'm going to ride with you on. I'm going to take the Commies +3.5. I like them to bounce back this week, so give me them. I'm going to take Dolphins -7 as well, but I'm also going to take, I don't know what the line is yet. I'm going to take the Raiders team total under because I'm going to take our defense to be even more pissed after Deshaun Elliott.
They should.
So I'm taking Raiders team total under. Whatever it is, that's going under. Let's see what else we got. This is a pick purely for the Dolphins as well. I'm taking the Falcons money line as dogs against the Broncos.
Okay.
Falcons
just lost a bad one.
They did just lose a bad one, and I have their under 10 season total, but I got it. I need to root against the AFC. So
fair.
I want it. Who's my dog gonna be?
The Jaguars. 13.5 against the Lions. Could you imagine?
Yeah.
And Trevor Lawrence isn't going to play, so God knows who they're going to trot out there. I think it's Mac Jones, no?
It's Mac Jones. They're so bad. No, I'm not going to touch that. You know what game I will... Damn, I really don't know who I'm going to have to take my dog.
You're really pondering on this one. It's a big word, pondering.
Pondering. I really don't know because I don't want to take the Bears. The Bears stink. All right, screw it.
The Bears don't even know what sport they're playing right now. The poor Bears.
You know what? Give me the Colts.
Okay, it's not bad.
I'll take the Colts money line versus the Jets on the road. Anthony Richardson's back though, so count that as an L, but I'll take it. That's the best one I can find because I don't want to take the Steelers, the Seahawks, and I think the Seahawks is a good pick. So.
I think what would be cool, I think we can start today, is every week we say what teams to root for as we go on to. Okay. I think that'll be a cool. Now that we're we're already in the playoff hunt in week 10, so I think it would be cool to the rooting guide.
Okay, I got you right here.
Yeah,
I love that idea.
I know it by heart.
All right,
let's give a little rooting guide for the week.
Not that it really affects us because I think they stink, but we can root for the Rams over the Pats. Okay. But whatever. We need the Saints over the Browns. Again, it's just more NFC versus AFC. Mm-hmm. Keep knocking down the AFC. In a weird way, we kind of actually, although I just picked the Colts as the dog of the week,
we need the Jets.
We kind of need the Jets just because they're 3-7 and the Colts are 4-6, and we play the Jets twice, so we kind of control our destiny with them. We already lost to the Colts, so we actually do kind of need the Jets to win. But it's a either one loses is kind of not bad.
This game seems a little tricky between the Bengals and the Chargers. I don't even know who to root for there.
Yeah, the tough spot is that we are going to actually have to root for the Chargers.
Because the
but it's not bad because if the Bengals win, whatever, the Chargers take a hit.
But the Chargers are up and they're top of the division.
They're
right?
the 6th. No, the Chiefs are. So they're the 6th seed right now.
So
we're technically vying for we're going for the 7th seed.
Yeah.
So whatever helps us get to the 7th seed, it's the Bengals losing. So we do kind of need to root for the Chargers. The Bills Chiefs doesn't affect us. I'm actually rooting for Buffalo.
Baltimore Pittsburgh doesn't affect us.
Doesn't affect us either because they're both 7-win teams. Like, granted, either one of those losing
will help us in some way.
In some way, in terms of like it can, whatever, we can catch up in some way. But like, there's not one that's definitive. Like, oh, we need them to win because they're both 7-3, 7-2, and then the Bengals. I mean, the Chargers. We probably want them to beat the Bengals so we can just kind of be tied up with the Bengals. But then the Chargers would take an extra leap on us, so it's kind of like a semi-nightmare either way. But essentially, yeah.
Hope for a draw.
Hope for a tie would be phenomenal. A tie would be phenomenal.
But I think that'll be a cool series as we, go through the season. Hopefully, we keep on winning. I think it'll be cool to see.
Yeah, essentially, it's always rooting NFC over AFC. It doesn't even matter who it is. Just root for the NFC, make the AFC look weaker, and we take it. So,
but in within the conference, that's when things can get a little tricky.
Exactly.
Because I think it is going to be. It's going to be very close race for the last playoff
100%. That last, it's 1.5 games out, and we're 3-6. So that's how many?
Yeah. So I think we'll give you kind of updates, and we can make a little graphic about it. Give little updates about who to root for, the rooting guide as the Dolphins chase the 7th seed.
Yes.
But we just have to keep on winning. That's all. Nothing matters.
Keep on winning. The only thing we have control of is winning games. And we just got to keep doing it.
So hopefully next week we come back to you. Jared will be back. We come back 4-7.
If we lose this week, it's because Dre came back. I'm just going to put that out there.
We have to ship Dre away. And then that'll be a whole nother conversation. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to win. We're going to be 4-7.
One game at a time.
I know Dave is for sure going to be at the game, right?
I will be at the game, yes.
You'll be at the game.
I got a wedding in the Keys this weekend, and I'm driving back at like 9 in the next day.
So we'll be rooting for it.
Game,
if you don't know sign up for Underdog. Code Tranquilo. Make sure you put your props in.
Yes.
All right. NFL season's heating up. College picks. I think it's one of the only sites you can put in college props in.
It's true.
So put your college props in. Cam Ward over on yards. Easiest pick. Guys, I think that does it for today.
That's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. We made it this long. Again, like, subscribe, comment. Thank you again. See you guys next week. Peace.
Hands up, baby.
Hands up. Paws up.